Like you are aware that this morning the National Industrial Court ordered that the FCT workers should suspend the strike pending the determination of the substantive matter, which was adjourned till sometime March 2026. For me, the issue of strike is not new, and I believe that the administration has reasonably met the demands of the workers. But the point is that we must realize that there are some demands that are very frivolous, very frivolous. It has nothing to do with what workers are entitled to or not. And when we saw that initially we didn't go to court, we believe that that they need to dialogue, that they need to sit down and talk. But when we saw that politicians have been able to hijack the strike, and we felt that we can't fold our arms and we have to go to court. Let the court determine in merit, on merit, what are the issues, what are the workers demanding. I want to use this to say that this is democracy. Everybody has the right to protest. But I believe that strike is normally the last option. If we are requesting for 40 things and the government has made over 10 things, I mean, reasonably, you should be able to say, okay, we can give you some time. But everybody spoke to them, the security, the administration spoke to them, and we felt that there's more to it, and we couldn't allow that to happen. This is not my first time of having this kind of issues. I was governor of Rivers State for 8 years. I was chairman of local government, so I do know that if workers have legitimate demands, and what the administration can do is to tell you that these demands are legitimate, but with what's on plan, it will be difficult to fully implement them. However, we shall start with this. Give us some time, we will have finished implementing. I mean, there's nobody that would think that if you're entitled to earn this and government will deny it, it's not correct. It's not correct. When they talk about wages, and that's why they don't tell the public the truth. 5.something billion, and I say, listen, at the head of service, the permanent secretary treasury, let's start paying. We pay December, we are going to pay January. But if you by February, we would have, how would you now say no? And what I have seen is that part of lack of development of most states and FCT inclusive are workers. Most people have accused former ministers who are here for doing nothing, no infrastructure. But nobody wants to ask. If you have, take for example, what do we get? We get 1% of what the federal government gets at the end of the day. If the federal government gets 1 trillion, for example, in a month, we're entitled to 1% of that 1 trillion. And that gives you 10 billion. That gives you 10 billion. What is the salary bill of this FCT? As I speak to you, I just signed January salary of 12.something billion. So assuming, though not considered, that this month, January, federal government got 1 trillion, assuming so, what we're entitled to as FCT is a 10 billion. The 10 billion cannot even be enough to pay salaries and run the administration. Therefore, you fall back to your IGR. And when we take drastic actions as to make sure people pay the IGR, again, people complain. You are being too, you are too, kind-handed. Give us some time and this and that. When I came on board, what was the IGR of the FCT? 9 billion. 9 billion. Today, where are we? We have hit 30 billion. So you should be commended. Workers should not lose sight that before we came here, there's nothing like FCT Civil Service Commission. Workers should not lose the fact that they had no permanent secretaries. Workers should not lose sight that we were operating under TSA. This administration, under the present government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So listen, you cannot deny or stagnate the growth of workers. Workers were retiring here at the level of directorship. It was under this administration that they had to get to permanent secretaries. It was under this administration they had to have the first head of service. It's under this administration they have to be Civil Service Commission that looks now to the promotion of workers. If we are still under TSA, where would you have gotten the money to say, oh, you want this, you want that? Okay, so assuming we have 30 billion, you want us to expend the entire money in the welfare of workers. Look at the massive infrastructure development that we're doing. Where does the money come from? So when people cannot be realistic and begin to align themselves with politicians, then we will not allow it. There's no amount of blackmail. There's no amount of insult that anybody can begin to say and that will touch me. No, if they should know my record. No. What is right is what is right. What is wrong is wrong. You can't intimidate the administration, blackmail anybody. I had somebody say yesterday, oh, the workers were chasing me away. Where was that? I was in the office here. I finished working. At some time I came into the office, there was nobody at the gate. I left to the airport to see how Mr. President traveled to Turkey. Came back. So where are they getting this information if they are not blackmailers or who have been hired by politicians? The moment you don't longer act as a worker, you now work as a politician, then I face you. I will treat you the way politicians have been treated. The court has cut off. If anybody dares again to block the gate, we use the person as scapegoat, because you must obey the law. When a democracy, we're not a military government. If we're a military government, obviously, we will not allow the strike. But also the democracy, go and ventilate. And we have to go to court. Let the court look at it dispassionately. Who is wrong, who is right? Not necessarily what you sell out to members, churn out to members of the public, or you remove Wike. What has that got to do with it? If Wike is removed, will you be the one here? So you leave what you're supposed to do, and you begin to convert for a different thing. So I felt it is necessary. We know a lot of black legs. We know even some directors who are part of it. We know. Because things are no longer the same. It's no longer business as usual. Here, directors before were awarding contracts left, right, and center. And now we said, no, that cannot happen again. Then they begin to instigate workers who don't agree, we have so much money. Where's the money you have? So I thank you for at least being able to report to the members of the public the right thing, what is going on, the correct stories, not what anybody will set up from there, say this and say that. So that's why we are. We will obey whatever the court says. We won't begin to carry gun to fight, no. they should also obey whatever the court says. We have subjected ourselves to the court to determine. We have been always disposed to have a dialogue. Like I told you, they have met with the management, they have met with the security agencies. What are the issues? We have tackled them before. But nothing, they give you this kind of no problem, nothing will happen before you know they go and do a different thing. If genuinely, it's okay, we have seen what is going on, what has happened, then we'll talk. But if it's on blackmail, intimidation, I would not agree. If you like go and hire all the civil servants in the whole world, take over, it's not my business.
All right, hello, Mr. Sam. My name is Caleb Bonway. I want to ask.
You are from where?
New Telegraph newspaper. The court has ordered them to suspend the strike. What will be your advice to workers from tomorrow? And will there be consequences for workers who fail to resume work from tomorrow?
Well, I mean, naturally, if you disobey the law, there are no consequences of disobeying the law. We must allow people to disobey the law flagrantly. I've given them the window. You can see me in office today. For tomorrow, if you don't come to work, we are going to apply the big stick. And from tomorrow, if you see anybody who says, oh, he wants to block the gate, we will make you a scapegoat. The law must take its place. There's no going back about that. Let me tell you. If you say you have met with the management, the management wouldn't have met you without my consent. It is not possible. The management wouldn't have agreed to this and that without my consent. So if I'm not around, for example, I'm indisposed, nobody will discuss simply because I'm indisposed. And again, one thing I don't like, people thinking that seeing me is a right. It's not a right. I'm here to do what is right. And if there's a problem, as the head of service, Chairman Civil Service Commission, and other management achievers, look, what are the problems, what are the issues? They call me and say, okay, take this. They go back, okay, what have I done? So even if you come to see me, it's the same thing I will say. Do this part, okay, take for example, one of the issues that, we extend tenure of directors. What does that affect you? Is the prerogative of the man who's occupying the office, like the president today can say, listen, head of service, I'm going to extend their tenure for 6 months. Why will you go on strike? But the president said, I will extend the head of service tenure to 6 months. How does it affect you? Is that what you will now say you go on strike? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And we're not going to allow it.
The issue started when videos and reports began circulating online claiming that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, was chased out of his office in Abuja. The clip spread fast, and many people quickly concluded that protesting workers forced him out of the office building. This immediately triggered heavy reactions across social media, with different interpretations, arguments, and emotional responses from Nigerians who were trying to understand what truly happened. Because the footage was short and lacked full context, the story took on a life of its own before official explanations came out. Before we go deeper, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important updates like this. Your support helps us bring clear and balanced news to you every day. According to Wike, the claim that he was chased out of office is completely false. He explained that at no point was he forced out, intimidated, or prevented from doing his job. He said he left his office calmly and normally, and the narrative that he ran away because of protest is simply not correct. From his explanation, the timing of his departure was misunderstood and then exaggerated online. He made it clear that he remains fully in charge of his responsibilities and that no group of workers or protesters chased him away. The protest itself is connected to ongoing industrial action by some workers within the Federal Capital Territory Administration. These workers have been expressing dissatisfaction over welfare matters, salary-related concerns, and administrative issues. Protests of this nature are not new in Nigeria, especially when workers feel their voices are not being heard quickly enough. On the day the videos were recorded, there was visible tension around government offices, which made it easy for observers to misinterpret normal movements as something more dramatic. Wike reacted strongly because, according to him, the viral claim was designed to damage his image and suggest weakness where there was none. He emphasized that leadership is not exercised through fear and that he has handled far more complex situations in public service. He also stressed that misinformation spreads faster than facts, especially when people rely only on short video clips without proper explanation. His response was meant to set the record straight and calm the situation. At the same time, Wike acknowledged that workers have the right to express their concerns through lawful and organized means. However, he insisted that any protest must respect court decisions and public order. He stated that dialogue remains open and that the government is willing to engage through the appropriate channels. What he rejected strongly was the idea that pressure, rumors, or online narratives would force the government to act outside the law. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel at this point so you can continue to get updates that break down complex issues in a clear and simple way. What made this situation more intense was how quickly the story shifted from a labor issue to a political one. Some commentators began linking the incident to past political rivalries and power struggles, even though the protest itself was not about party politics. This is a common pattern in Nigeria, where almost every major public event is quickly interpreted through a political lens. Wike addressed this indirectly by saying that some people deliberately twist events to suit their personal interest, especially when cameras are involved. Another important angle is how social media shapes public opinion. Many viewers who saw the clips did not wait for confirmation before drawing conclusions. Once a narrative takes hold online, correcting it becomes very difficult. This is why public officials often respond quickly to viral claims, even when they appear baseless. Wike's response fits into this pattern of trying to control the narrative before misinformation becomes accepted as truth. Beyond the controversy, the larger issue remains the welfare of workers and how government institutions manage disputes. Strikes and protests usually point to deeper administrative problems that need long-term solutions. While public attention focused on whether Wike was chased out or not, the core issues raised by workers risked being overshadowed. This shows how dramatic headlines can sometimes distract from the real matters that affect daily governance. Wike also used the opportunity to restate that government operations in the FCT are continuing and that services have not collapsed. He insisted that reforms and administrative processes are ongoing, and that no single protest can shut down the entire system. From his perspective, leadership means maintaining stability even during moments of public pressure. As the story continues to circulate, it is important for viewers to separate verified statements from speculation. Emotional reactions are understandable, but balanced information helps everyone form better opinions. Situations like this remind us that videos do not always tell the full story, and that context is essential in understanding public events. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you value calm, clear, and professional breakdowns of trending issues. In the end, the key takeaway from this story is simple. Wike insists he was never chased out of office, and the claim remains unproven beyond online speculation. The protest was real, the tension was real, but the dramatic conclusion drawn by many people does not match the explanation given by the central figure involved. As Nigerians continue to debate leadership, workers' rights, and accountability, stories like this show the importance of patience, verification, and clear communication. Thank you for staying with this full breakdown. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next real-time update on major national stories.